The next Call of Duty game coming out this fall is going to be made by Treyarch, who made the Black Ops series. They made World at War, made some of my favorite Call of Duty games. It's leaked that it's going to be called Call of Duty Cold War. Now, if you don't know the Cold War setting or anything that went into that, I'll explain this all in the video. So, this is kind of going to be a sequel to Call of Duty World at War that came out for the 360 and PS3. So if you enjoyed World at War, which was a fun game, if you love the weapons and stuff, they're mostly going to be similar. So you have a lot of the semi-auto assault weapons. You have the MP40. The MP40 with the round jump is probably the most overpowered game in any Call of Duty history, especially when you could put Juggernaut on the thing. You didn't need stopping power. You put 2 bullets in somebody's head and it was an insta-kill. So if you ran that thing, it had like a 90 or 120 bullet clip, something crazy with steady aim, and you could pretty much hip fire and just completely destroy people. So that'll be back. M1 A1 Garand, which you unlocked at like level 55. These guns were so much fun to use, so it's going to be really fun. Now, I will mention Call of Duty World War II, although it's kind of in the same time period, was not made by the same developers. That was made by Sledgehammer Games, who created Advanced Warfare, and I think they helped out on Modern Warfare 3 as well, which Modern Warfare 3, it was a good game, but it was a lot of cut and paste from Modern Warfare 2, so kind of similar, but Treyarch makes some really great games. This is going to be really good. So now let's go ahead and get into the settings of what the Cold War was. So the Cold War was the time period right after World War II, 1945. I've done some research, and by research I've read a couple articles online, and it said it went all the way to 91. So it was after World War II was over. Russia was trying to invoke communism into that part of the world. Now, communism, when you think of socialism, because that's a term that everyone knows, think of socialism times a million. So you pretty much can't have any private property. The government chooses what food you have. So you know how now you're free to go to a grocery store and you can purchase food. If you're on like government assistance, they'll still give you a EBT card and you can still purchase what you want. This thing, even if you had the money, the government brings food to your house. They choose what you have. If you want a new car, they choose what car you have. You're probably not living in your own house. You're living in a government assisted house. So it's just no privacy at all, no private property, no anything like that. That's how communism worked. And this was the Soviet Union, not really Russia, but the Soviet Union at the time. So the United States and their allies, Great Britain, which I'm not sure how great their army was, but I'm pretty sure the U.S. had the best army around that time. But the Soviet Union is really powerful and really evil. So this time period is going to be you fighting against the Soviet Unions. And this went from, like I said, around 45, 46, all the way up until the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So when you think of that, I'm going to bring up one example here, which is Olympic hockey, or Olympic sports in general. So 1980 was the Olympic hockey team, the Miracle on Ice for the United States. Now, why this was such a big deal was because at the time, athletes for the United States Olympics team were mostly college kids who did it for free. They did it because they loved the sport they were competing in and wanted to make their country proud, wanted to make themselves proud by winning a medal. Russia, on the other hand, they actually paid their athletes. So the same way we pay professional hockey players to play for a team, Russia did that. They paid them less, but say a United States college kid goes to college and he does hockey in his free time and he tries out for the Olympic team. The Russians would say, we're going to pay you 60 grand a year, just focus on hockey, don't lose, or we will publicly humiliate and destroy you. We're going to pee in a glass, make you drink it, pour it on your head, stream it live on Twitch. The Russians actually invented Twitch back in 1948, and then it was brought back later by Amazon. The second part of that was a complete lie. 1980 was such a big deal, like I said, because they had paid athletes. So think of a bunch of college kids playing professional hockey players, and they still beat them. They beat Russia, and then they went on to beat Sweden. So maybe a hockey scene in the campaign would be nice. But that's what the Cold War was in a gist of it. It's the rise and downfall of the Soviet Union. So that's what this game is going to be about. Now, Black Ops 4 did not have a campaign mode at all. They forewent that because it takes a lot of time and development to write the campaign and all that. They wanted to put all their efforts into multiplayer. We don't know yet if this will have a campaign or not. If it does, it's probably going to be some pretty cool shit playing in Russia in like the late 40s, early 50s. It'll be an amazing time period, especially if you love the guns around that time. I will say this about World War II, which came out, what, 2 years ago? People said after one of the updates they made it really good. When I played it, it was very boring. I didn't enjoy it. World at War, however, the Treyarch game, was a fucking blast to play. I love that game so much. And I think what they're going to do is adapt the Battle Pass. So hopefully we're not going to have to pay for DLC. You can buy a Battle Pass if you want, but you shouldn't have to. Treyarch makes really great games. I started playing Black Ops 4 again. Some of the things I don't like, the 150 health, the E-stims, I wish they would take out, but for the most part, that game just fucking shits on Modern Warfare 2019. It is so much funner to play. There's actually UAVs up. You can silence your footsteps. It's so much fun. So that's hopefully what that game's going to be. This was just a short overview of what the Cold War was, that time frame, who your enemy is. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments, do you guys want a campaign mode for this, or do you just want it to be straight up multiplayer?